My next guest's body of work has filled the screens of televisions and movie screens all over the world, Eddie, from Eddie Sutton on the ABC Family's Lincoln Heights, as Luke on the HBO drama In Treatment, as Detective Hank Griffin on the long-running NBC series Grimm, and the movies Fences, directed by my boy Denzel Washington, and Creed 2, which stars Michael B. Jordan. He was born and raised in Oakland, California. He was in the theater program at Boston University and studied for a summer at the British Academy of Dramatic Arts program at Oxford University. He is on the show today to talk about his new series, Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector, which premieres Friday, January 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, 7 p.m. Central on NBC. Please welcome for the very first time to Money Making Conversation, Russell Hornsby.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, Russell, I had to lay you out there, man.
Doing, brother?
I had to lay you out there, Russell. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but you know how to lay a brother out too. I'll tell you.
Well, Russell, first of all, congratulations on, and I don't say congratulations on what you have done, on what you will be doing, because your resume has allowed you to establish your consistency and your authenticity as a professional in this business, and we know that's tough to do. We know it's tough to get on a series that lasts because sometimes you can't plan. Just before we get started into the interview and everything, talk about your experience in Hollywood and the entertainment business a little bit.
Well, first and foremost, what was most important to me before, and I say this just in retrospect, was having studied as an actor. As you stated in the intro, studying at Boston University, getting my degree in theater arts, having an opportunity to study at the British Academy for Dramatic Arts. But more importantly for me was being able to spend 2 years with August Wilson.
Yes.
I like to say that time I spent with August doing the play Jitney all over the country and then off Broadway gave me my master's in life, if you will, in acting and in life. And so it prepared me to be able to bring forth that authenticity and have a depth of feeling and personality that I feel, that can't be matched and that you can't manufacture. It has to be in you, and so it helped me to understand who I was and who I am, where I come from, so that I was able to, when I walked into LA, when I came to LA,
right,
nobody could tell me who I was,
right,
and put that upon me. I already knew,
right,
and so I had a clear understanding of that.
And it's really impressive because it shows in your style of work. And I got to tell you a little fun side story. Stephen A. Smith, a good friend of mine, a talent that I manage as well. And we was on the phone before this interview was even locked down. And he was saying, "Hey, Rushion, I got an idea." I go, "What's Stephen A? What's the idea you got today?" "Hey, man, remember that show on ESPN, at Playmakers? Man, we need to bring that back." I said, first of all, outstanding suggestion. But the powers that be may not want it coming back, because that series right there, man, I'm going to tell you something, brother. Incredibly, only 11 episodes aired. But it has stuck.
That's right.
It has stuck in a part of Americana as great television, authentic, real television. Just talk about that experience a little bit, because from a viewer standpoint, to have him talk to me about that and let him know that it's, that because we always talk about producing different television shows and different things that you can reboot. And that's why we was in discussion about it. But man, that was an incredible a television production that was on ESPN.
Well, ironically enough, while we were shooting it, just after we finished shooting it, while it was airing, I ran into Stephen A. in Times Square, just in front of the ABC building, or right there.
Right.
He said, brother, I love you on that show, Playmakers, man. Man, you killing it on that show. And I was the only first and only time I've ever met Stephen A. Smith. But, we just had an opportunity John Eisendrath, who created and wrote the show, I mean, he was just telling the truth as to what he saw, and he gave an authentic portrayal of what was happening to athletes, you know, in professional football.
Right.
And you know, I appreciate getting that opportunity to honestly to tell the truth, really, you know, and not glamorize it and not sensationalize it and not gloss it over.
Right.
They were really coming from a representational standpoint, honestly.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what really resonated with audience.
Absolutely.
Was
Absolutely.
just how honest and real it was.
And it was also outstanding acting. Outstanding acting.
Thank you.
Because of the fact that I always tell people, in order to like a show, you have to be able to take the journey with the actor. So the actor has to bring you in and you feel a relationship with him. And on that show, I felt as a viewer, I felt a relationship, and it was a hit show. So I say that because of the fact that, you know, when you say you get the ratings back and you go, man, we're a hit. Then in your mind, you think, oh man, I've landed a jackpot. And that is not how Hollywood works sometimes. You know, here's a show, had the numbers, was delivering the goods, the acting was great, and it went away. That probably set a tone for you with Hollywood that, wow, what sometimes is real is not real, correct?
Absolutely. You know, what you learn very early is that, you know, Hollywood is the business of show.
Yes, it is.
And if the business doesn't make sense, the show ain't gonna work.
Right.
And so there are a lot of people who have to be happy, you know, when you put a show on the air or when you put a movie on the screen or what have you. And again, you're right. I learned very early that nothing is guaranteed, quite honestly. But also, though, how I was reared, how I was raised, coming from Oakland, being black in America, all that kind of stuff, I understand that.
Yes, sir.
That's just, you know, that's in me. So you never take anything for granted. You know, all you can go by is what you have today. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, and you can't depend on yesterday.
Yeah, we're talking to Russell Hornsby, and his new series is coming out in January on NBC. Let's talk about that character, because that you're playing in this 1-hour drama that's on NBC. Now, we just talked about the series at ESPN. You were playing a running back, very athletic.
Yeah.
Very athletic. Now you're playing a character that's a quadriplegic. And, you know, that's I was trying to wrap my head around how you know, because your whole life has been a physical life.
Yeah.
Walk us through the steps of preparation for a role where it was about, you know, your mind, your expressions are really only going to be in your face, you know, the delivery, the nuances of the tone. That had to be a journey for you, correct?
It really did. It really was a journey, Rashad, but one that I was so willing to take I believe ready for, quite honestly. You know, I'm an actor who I embrace a challenge at any and every level. You know, I was a little nervous, you know, before taking it on, before we began shooting. I have to be honest about that. But I knew that I could do it. I knew I was prepared because I knew that the Lord would not put, you know, what they say, he wouldn't drop me off here.
Yes,
you
sir.
know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And,
yes, sir.
And so I knew that I was ready. But for me, what had prepared me most, quite honestly, for this role was my ability and my time in school of working on Shakespeare and also my time in doing the plays of August Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Because when we're talking about, what I feel that what Shakespeare does with the language is able to bend the language, right? You're talking about this high language where all you're doing is using your words. My liege, I did deny no prisoners, but I remember when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, right? So that's Shakespeare, right?
Yes.
But then you have the beautiful expression of August Wilson. Right? So you marry the bard and the blues together. So August says, I don't know about you and Leroy, but Purnell made me kill him.
Right.
Purnell called me champ. I told him my name's King. He said, yeah, champ. I go on. I don't say nothing. He don't know. My daddy killed the man for calling him out his name. He don't know. He messing with King Henry II. So that's rhythm now. You see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We marry the bard and the blues of August Wilson together.
Wow.
And so what I like to call for Lincoln Rhyme, who is a C4, C5 quadriplegic, what I feel I brought to Lincoln Rhyme is cerebral swagger. Right?
Yes.
Because it's in his head, and all he has is the words on the page, with which to use to express himself. Right. He can't walk a certain way. He can't gesticulate a certain way.
No swag. Swag is out.
The brother has to use his mind and his words to let it all hang out.
Awesome. We're talking to my man Russell Hornsby. He's the star of the new series on NBC, star miniseries. In fact, he's coming back home because he was on Grimm on NBC for a long time on Friday nights. Friday nights, brother. I was just watching on Friday nights, man. Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector, which premieres Friday, January 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, 7 p.m. Central on NBC. We'll be right back with more of this interview. Shakespeare me up, brother. You know, I'm from Fifth Ward in Houston, Texas. You from Oakland. You doing a number on me, Russell. Hi, this is Rushion McDonald, and you're listening to Money Making Conversations. On the phone is Russell Hornsby. Variety, in 2018, named him one of the 10 actors to watch because he's amassed an impressive catalog of films. We talk about The Hate You Give, Creed 2, Oscar-nominated Fences, Netflix 7 Seconds, and Showtime's The Affair. Grimm. We can go on and on. You know, the thing I love about him is that the dynamics of what you see Oakland, California. People can stereotype you. People can say that's that dream that you have right there, young man. Don't work no place else. Go get a normal job. But that didn't rhyme with me. That didn't rhyme with him either. Because I was from Fifth Ward, Texas. They told me the same thing. Inner city kid, talk about your opportunities are limited on what is available to you. I went to my opportunities, and that basically when I did my research on your stories about what you did, you were not afraid of the journey. That's why you went to Boston. That's why you went over, Oxford. Talk about that journey before we get back into the series a little bit.
Going to Boston University, being born and raised in Oakland, California, that was a time when, the drugs crack had hit.
Yes, sir.
And, brothers and sisters were dropping like flies. And the truth be told, being a young brother, I didn't grow up in the hood necessarily, but you saw the adverse effects of crack cocaine happening. And I was scared. And so I said to my mother, I said to myself, I want to get out of here and go as far as I can. Ironically enough, the points from San Francisco to Boston are the two furthest points in this country.
Right. Yes.
And so, I knew that I wanted to try my hat at acting. And so went to Boston University. The only thing my mother said to me is that you can't quit. And so you can go pursue this dream of yours, but you cannot quit. And when I got there, while I wanted to, because so many things were happening, and my world had turned upside down. My first time really being away from home, but the echoes ring out of my mother's voice. You can't quit, so I keep going. From my junior year going into my senior year, I would go home and I had a job at a rec center, making a couple of dollars, working with the kids. One before the summer, my uncle said to me, he said, "Russell, why are you always going home?" My uncle lived in Boston.
Right.
He said, "Why don't you do something, in the summer?" And I was like, wow, it never dawned on me.
Right.
That I could do something else. So I looked up this theater program and the British Academy of Dramatic Arts. And I applied, I auditioned, got in. I had to hustle all during the school year. And just before I went to, make up this money so I could pay to go. And for almost 2.5 months, it was some of the the best time of my life up to that point. Yes. And one of the most memorable times in my life, because I saw people from all over the world come into this place with a dream, all different kind of talent levels, all different colors, accents, shape, size, everything. And just to be able to interact, a black boy from Oakland, to be, in London, England, and interacting with all these people, and all it was about, up to this point, was about your talent.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hungry? Do you want to learn? Are you willing to step out of your comfort zone? Show us what you have to offer.
Right.
And learned a lot about myself in that process. And that said to me at that time, this is what I'm going to do this. I'm going to pursue this.
I love it.
And full bore. I'm going all out. And the truth is, Rushion, there was never a plan B, brother. You know,
I love it. That's what you're driven by that passion.
Now, but it was never was a plan B.
Well, I'm talking to Russell Hornsby.
I didn't know how to fill out what do they call that? A work. You fill out a form to get a job,
right.
An employment application.
Right.
I didn't know how to fill out none of that.
No. You know, I'm talking to Russell Hornsby. He's starring in a new series, Lincoln Ryan Hunt for the Bone Collector, which premieres Friday, January 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, NBC. Okay, let's put some pressure on this. This previous role was done in a movie by Mr. Denzel Washington, who also directed you in Fences.
Absolutely.
Here's my whole thought process to this, because you're a physical guy. I've seen you running and fighting in Grimm. I've seen you pack, because you always play a detective, you know what I'm saying? You're always somewhere protecting people. And so now you're in this role. Did you have anybody strap you down to get used to, like, not move, don't move, you can't move? What? I'm just trying to wrap my head around that, because it can't be as simple as, hey, I'm a great actor. This is a method moment. Just be still. How many weeks did it get you to wrap your head around that process of being a quadriplegic?
You know what? Honestly, I'll be honest with you. This is not something I could have done 5, 7, or 10 years ago.
Right.
Now, the truth is, I'm 45 years old. I'm athletic, but I'm 45.
Absolutely.
And now I understand how, when I was coming up, the old folks could just sit on the porch all day.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I'm 45, I'm athletic, but I'm tired.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At times.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know I got miles to go before I sleep. Let's not get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
But the stillness, the stillness that I was able to get was just based on age, quite honestly. Because I'd have peace in my life, and I can be still. Before, 5, 10, 15 years ago, when you were a kid, you were a youngster, you got all this energy, you got testosterone just running through you. You can't be still for nothing. What are we going to do? What are we going to get into? What I want to see, I want to get some. What are we doing tonight? What are we doing tomorrow night?
Mm-hmm.
All that.
Mm-hmm.
And just having a sense of stillness of age that I didn't have before, honestly, that's what helped me.
Wow.
Quite honestly.
That's
because
awesome.
I'm secure in who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm secure in my manhood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm secure in my blackness.
Right.
And I'm secure and I'm at peace. And I can be still because I'm not running from anybody, and I'm not running to anything. I'll take my time and I'll get there. There was that saying, remember, I first heard it in the movie Colors, where Robert Duvall and Sean Penn are in the movie. And Robert Duvall tells the story. He tells the story about the old bull and the young bull.
Right.
He says, Dad, look at them cows down at the bottom of the hill. He said, let's run down and get one of them cows. And the old bull says, no, son, let's walk down and get them all.
I remember this scene. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm an older bull now. I walk.
It's
I don't
beautiful.
need to be running nowhere.
Running nowhere.
My time and do it right.
Well, Russell, we know in this series you're not doing the job by yourself, and I want to give you time and for you to shout out some of the incredible cast that's part of it. I got my boy right there from The Sopranos, Michael and Ariel.
Michael Imperioli, absolutely.
Come on now, Sopranos, So just let's run down some of the cast that's putting down this show. I know the pilot was shot in New York City and Central Park, one of my favorite cities in the country, the New York subway. So you kept it authentic. That experience had to be, as always, every project you do has its own unique experience, but that unique experience is tied to the actors that share the same screens with you or the same stages with you.
Yeah. Well, we have, my co-star who plays Amelia Sachs, Ariel Cabell. She's just wonderful. We've had a great time working together, and we're on the show. We're essentially partners, and working together. We have, as we stated before, Michael Imperioli. you know, you would think when you meet Michael, you would think that Michael's going to be one way.
Right.
The man is so genuine, so generous a spirit, and such a really wonderful person to work with. You know, a dear old friend of mine from the theater, Rosalind Ruff, who plays Claire, my help nurse on the show.
Right.
Tate Ellington, Brooke Lyons, just a wonderful, wonderful cast of people. And again, we are talking about people with talent. You know what I mean? Like, who know what they're doing, who know their way around the set, who know their way around a script,
right, and
look to elevate material. That's so important. And you know, the original writers, DJ Boyd and Mark Biancoli, just wonderful writers, and our showrunner Barry O'Brien, just some really good people who really care about what we're doing.
You know, it's beautiful when I see you roll out those names, because let's just go back to you, my friend, your resume. You know, like you said, that it becomes a body of work, and when you come on a set, it's like, you know, it's like Tom Brady coming on the set. You know, you go, oh wow, okay, I got to step up my game.
Okay,
I got to step up my game.
Yeah.
Okay, because he throw the ball, I better catch it. Okay, he hand me the ball to run through the hole, I better try to find a hole. If he passes back to drop back to pass, I better block and not allow him to get sacked. So I feel honestly that, you know, variety just doesn't handpick people out and say in 2018 you one of the top 10 actors to watch. You know, your resume, you know, Shakespeare just quoting it during my radio show. Going from Oakland to Boston, then getting pitched an idea. Hey man, what you doing for the summer? I'm gonna find something to do. Guess what? You had to qualify. You had to qualify to do that. They wasn't handing out those opportunities. And when you Playmakers was in 2003. Come on now, 16 years. Right. I have seen you on TV consistently, in the movies consistently. Right. So when you walk on that set, remember this, Russell. All the energy is being produced by you, and it just permeates to the rest of the cast, because they have to step up to your resume. They have to step up to your work ethic. And I think it's beautiful because on this particular series, you can't even move.
That's right. You know, nothing happens by accident. A wise man and dear friend of mine, Stephen Henderson, used to tell me, things don't just happen, things happen just.
Yes.
And it happened by virtue of the work that you put in and your willingness to do the work. But I have to honestly, we raised his name earlier, I have to give a lot of kudos to Denzel Washington. Mm-hmm. And the reason being is that I had an opportunity to do in 2010 to be part of the revival of Fences on Broadway. Mm-hmm. And then to be able to come back 6 years later and do the film, to be handpicked by him yet again to do this film, and getting a chance to share the stage and the screen with one of, I think, the greatest actors God put breath in, quite honestly.
Thank you.
And it said to me, it instilled me with confidence that said, you are here. So don't retreat back, move forward. And it was D who instilled, he says, no, you're supposed to be here. Because I remember asking him, I remember saying to him, when we were the first day of shooting, I said, hey, D, thank you. He said, thank you for what? I said, for, there you go. For having me here, for giving me this opportunity. He said, no, brother. I didn't give you nothing. You earned it.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You're
supposed to be here.
That's what I'm saying.
And that just it told me everything I needed to know and everything I needed to hear.
Well, Russell, he just validated Rushion McDonald. That's all I was saying about you, brother. That's all I was saying about you.
Right.
Your career, it validates anytime you walk on the stage. Now, your humbleness makes you say thank you, which we all should do. We should all not assume that happened because who I am. Because people can look the other way. But no, my man, you're special. He's starring on Money Making Conversation right now, but he's going to be starring on NBC. Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector, which premieres Friday, January 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, 7 p.m. Central on NBC. My man, Russell, thank you for coming on my show. I hope you understand that, brother, I'm a fan, but I also do my homework because I know what you do and what you deliver.
Rushion, brother, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure meeting you, and just thank you for your support.
And I'm going to tell Stephen A. I talked to you today, too, as well.